What's going on, everybody? It's your boy City.
What's up, Cover 32 crew? It's your boy, Jay Green.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Drew, and you're now tuned in to Cover 32. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Cover 32. We are here with Jordan and Sid, of course, the regular crew. What's up, guys?
What's going on, though?
What's going on, boys?
Good to see you guys back with another football episode. And today we have a special guest, another one of our football insiders, Mr. Justin Walters. Justin, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Doing well, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. So, guys, of course, this is your first time meeting Justin, but he is an expert when it comes to NFL scouting, prospects, college players, anything of that type. Justin is the guy to go see. So definitely excited about this episode heading into the NFL draft. A lot of free agency stuff going on right now. So definitely a lot to cover within football, but we're going to hit the draft today while we got Justin here. So first question we have for you, Justin, the biggest name, of course, in college football, actually one of the biggest names in the last few years when it comes to college football, Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson. Big talent. Going number one to Jacksonville, pretty much can pen that draft pick. Where does T-Law stack up against all-time quarterback prospects for you?
I think he's not on the level of Luck, but I think what happened was he came in and he's one of probably more talented than Luck. But I think that Clemson offense hasn't really done him a lot of favors because it's pretty simple. You know what I mean? It's a lot of quick reads, get rid of the ball, and a lot of back shoulders. So they haven't helped him to progress. I mean, he came in as a freshman and he was already kind of where he is now. They were the better team majority of the time. So they just took advantage of that. So I think there's nothing he can't do on the field. There's some, on our podcast, we did some things where we had some little issues with him where, he's kind of long. So he's going to have issues with pressure and certain things like that. But when it comes to throws, there's no throw he can't make. I think that's what's going to elevate him, and that's what has him in that position.
So you don't think he's better than Andrew Luck was in college? Because I'm a huge Andrew Luck fan, so I'm glad that you said that.
Well,
and I wish he never retired. But can you expound on that? Like, what I know the team too, but what mechanics wise, why don't you think would be that close to Andrew Luck though?
I think skill wise, he is.
Okay.
Talent, natural talent, and ability. But I think that offense that you put Luck in, Luck was playing in a pro offense back. They played 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends. They didn't even get to show his full skill set, what he could actually do. So, when it comes to making reads and working, running an offense, that's what I need, more that way. But, when it comes to actual talent, Trevor Lawrence probably runs a 4.5. Just the things that, if you watch him throw a football, like I said, there's nothing he can't do on the football field as a thrower.
Right.
But I just think when it comes to walking into the NFL and playing football day one, it's not going to be as easy as a lot of people think. That's right. Even compared to some of the guys in this class, it's a lot little closer than we want to give him credit for.
Yeah. Real quickly, Sid, what's your opinion on T-Law? You like him as a QB?
Yeah, I wasn't really on the T-Law train like everyone else was early on, but he definitely is a winner. Like, that's one thing I do appreciate about him. He is going to struggle, like as Justin said, with pressure. He's not. I think there's a lot more upside to Trevor Lawrence than there is downside, which is good. He's a natural athlete. He's a winner. There's just a lot more good things about him than there are bad things. So I think he does deserve to go number 1 overall. And he's going to a decent team that has the opportunity to build around him. So as long as they can give him a decent offensive line, I think he progresses in the NFL.
Yeah. And Jordan, quickly, what's your opinion overall on T-Law?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat as Justin. I like him, but I do think that I don't want to say that he had an easy road, but the offense is built for him to succeed.
Right.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Nobody in football would not want to create an offense for your quarterback to succeed in. But I do think there's some guys that had tougher roads, and those guys with those tougher roads are going to develop a lot more of those skill sets that Trevor Lawrence might not have right off the bat. But like we said, he can make every single throw. So Jacksonville would be stupid not to take him. I think him and Urban Meyers together, they might be able to continue with the creating an offense that's conducive to him and where he'll be able to shine and, you know, mask the weaknesses that he might have.
Right. Because
just to add to that real quick. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I think the thing about Lawrence is he has the highest floor. You know, like you know what you're like you guys were saying. You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
But he also has a high ceiling, which that's what you're trying to do in a draft. Is say if we bust, we're all losing our job. You know, but for him, it's like he's gonna be okay. Like he's worst case scenario, he's gonna be the guy that's running around finding guys open. Best case scenario, he develops in the pocket and puts it all together and becomes, you know, historic. But I mean, I think that's what I'm saying is just his style, like he's such a long-limbed athlete and pressure up the middle where he needs a good lane. So I mean, with that, like you guys said, that offensive line plays a big part. You know, he needs that. He's not gonna maneuver the pocket like some of the more athletic, quicker guys.
Right. And was he like 6'5", 6'6"? Like
6'6".
he's physically built to play QB. Like it's insane. So he's easily the 1.1 of the draft. This is pretty much, like I said, you can write this in ink and end it right there. It's the only reason Urban Meyer got back into coaching. He timed that perfectly. He said, okay, Trevor Lawrence. All right,
so this better be a breeze.
Exactly.
Those chest pains all went away.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He's never had a QB like this. From what I can remember.
No.
That Florida, Ohio State. No, he's never had a QB of Trevor Lawrence's caliber. So it should be fun. They're gonna be real good in a few years if he stays in the same trajectory. So. So staying on the topic of QBs for college football, it seems that the three quarterbacks that are going after Trevor Lawrence in a lot of mock drafts kind of flip-flop from week to week in everybody's mock drafts. And Todd McShay, Mel Kiper, all the other CBS, all the other websites. Why the jump for guys like Trey Lance and Zack Wilson? And why has Justin Fields gone from consensus number 2 QB off the board to maybe 3rd or 4th at this point?
This is a weird year because of the whole, you know, with COVID and everything. I hate to say it, you know, I can say it's a copycat league. The scouts get around each other and they're basically sharing notes. You know, this is a year where teams are actually having to do their own work, you know, and anonymous people come and say things and it floats around. And we live in a world, unfortunately, where it's good, bad. It's never, hey, you know what? It's different. You know, all three guys are different quarterbacks. You know, each team, depending on how you look at it, like you said, Lawrence is where he's at. But I could see where Fields can be one. You could see where Lance can be one. You could see where Zack Wilson can be number 1. But it's just, it's such a thing of, if I like him, I have to bash this guy. More so than, you know, I run this system. That's all it really is. You know, and looking at all three of them, Lance is raw. I'm not going to say raw. He just needs reps.
Yeah.
Basically only played 1 year. So with more, he's as talented as anyone. He can make any throw, but it's just he hasn't played a lot of football. So if you're willing to wait, and he actually, out of all of them, played in the most pro-style offense. You know, went under center, play action, you know, full that kind of offense. So he's done everything. It's just you just need to play. Yeah. And then with Zack Wilson, he's fun to watch. It's weird because usually when you say fun to watch, you're thinking of a runner. He's just out there, you know, like you're playing Madden and you're mashing down the R2 button. And like, oh shoot, X is open. It's like that's it. He's just, but he has the ability to make those throws from any angle, you know. And sometimes it seems to be working, you know. And I think teams see Mahomes do that, so they're like, oh, that'll work. But it doesn't always work for everybody. So I mean, the next step up, it's a big step for him going from BYU to the NFL. And then with Fields, I think Fields is, when it comes to overall talent, Fields is on the same level as Lawrence. You know, they've been neck and neck for years, their whole high school careers. But I just think with if you look at the offenses, you know, Fields was in an offense that was more, you know, okay, we're running deep ends, we're running this route, so he's working through reads. Whereas Lawrence, it was screens, back shoulders to 6'5", you know, their receivers were 6'5" guys, so they're throwing jump balls. So it's a lot easier to look at this one guy and say, I'm going to throw this ball. So the adjustment for Fields is going to be deciding. Same thing Tua is struggling with is what's open. What's pro open. And the windows aren't the same in college. You got Ohio State playing Northwest. I don't even say Northwestern. They struggle against Northwestern. Playing against I don't even know, but playing against some Central Connecticut, there's an opening. The openings are a lot bigger, and I think that's going to be the adjustment of. Whereas I've watched Zack Wilson look at the first read, and he's like, "I'm going. I don't care. I'm going to squeeze it between two guys." Whereas Justin Fields would have went to the next read, and we can't say who's wrong because you get the ball in there, it's a highlight, And I think that's what it comes down to team. Some teams play it safer, some teams are a little more aggressive. And again, with Lawrence will make those throws. Whereas Wilson and Lance are a little, not Wilson, I'm sorry, Fields and Lance are a little more, what's the word? They're regimented of working through their reads. Okay, one's not there, go to two, go to three, go to check down. Whereas those other guys, Wilson, he's going to break the pocket and here's on fire and, hey, I'm throwing somebody. And Lawrence, he'll keep backing up and he'll make a throw that, that you're not supposed to make. So I think that's what separates these guys. And again, Fields is probably the best, and Fields is probably the best athlete, has one of the best arms, but it's just putting the two together. Okay, don't be an athlete one play, be a passer the next play. You can be them both. And I think that's the struggle for a lot of athletic quarterbacks.
Yeah. I'm an Ohio State fan, so I love Justin Fields. I was personally offended when I saw him dropping the third or fourth QB coming off the board. I said, "Yo, hold on, what's happening? What's happening?" But I get what you're saying on that. Like it really is, especially the teams at the top of the draft board, especially like 1 through 10, where we're assuming those four guys will go. It really just depends on what the team needs. And how because like you said, the scouting is completely different right now too. So it's definitely Jordan, what did you I remember you were saying something about was it Kyle Trask? I can't remember.
That's my boy.
What's that?
No. Say why you huh?
He just remind me a lot of like Big Ben. Like I just like that dude.
Yeah, that's no.
He resembles him.
Oh no, you know what it was? It was the Falcons. You were telling me that the Falcons were looking at. I don't know if it was Kyle Trask. Was it Trey Lance?
Some of the experts were saying that like the Falcons might do good in taking Trey Lance, even though it might it would be really early to take him. He's a little bit more better fit for that style of an offense where you got athletes all across the board. You got guys who can run great routes, get open, create the separation. He doesn't have to be this pinpoint accurate quarterback. He just has to be somebody who can go through reads, read the defense, make the right throws. And so I thought it was really cool that they were saying that he might be a guy that's more better fit for that offense and, kind of say, forget what the board says you should take and just go with the guy that's going to fit your system better.
Right.
Makes sense, man.
Yeah. And it looks like before the draft, the board's going to shuffle 5-6 more times anyway, so we just got to wait for it. I got to stop myself. I can't get offended if Justin Fields drops to the fourth QB off the board. It's okay. It's all right. And they locked up Dak now, so he's not going to the Cowboys. That's all done. That's over. All right, so of course, for me and Justin, we both play receiver, so I know I had to ask you some receiver questions about this draft because it's a very top-heavy receiver draft. And Jordan and Sid, of course, you guys know the position too. So, and Sid, you play tight end right now. So,
true.
Who would be your first wide receiver off the board?
For me, it'd be Jalen Waddle. He's just so explosive. I mean, I love like a polished, like run your route the right way, catch the ball, but he's just so explosive. Like there's nothing he can't. He's with the ball in his hands. He can score from anywhere in the field. He's such a threat. Like if you watch, not to compare anyone to Tyreek Hill because that's kind of crazy, but the ability, if you're as a receiver, if I can threaten a defensive back, there's nothing you can't do. So you're so scared of him running at you. Not to mention his arms and legs are going everywhere. He's running a 4.2, but he can stop on a dime. And if he catches it, he can't tackle. He's just, some of the returns he's had like as a returner or screens, and he's just he's just that good. I wanted to say, yeah, he's raw. I'm gonna wait and see, but just the more you watch him, he's that good, man. He's that good.
Yeah. Where does he stack up? Because of course Devontae Smith had a amazing season, ended up winning the Heisman as a wide receiver, which we don't see a lot at all. If Jalen Waddle didn't get that injury and played, do you think that affects Devon? Not do you think it would affect, because we know it would, but how much would it affect Devontae Smith's numbers and draft stock at this point?
I'm going to preface this by saying I love Devontae Smith. last year, I thought Devontae Smith was the best receiver on the team last year. The year before when Ruggs and all the guys were there.
Yeah.
But I feel like the way the offense started the season was Waddle was the big play guy, and Smith was the, hey, we need 10 yards, 10-yard out. So we would have never got to see how explosive Devontae really is, because they didn't throw him screens. That was Waddle's game. Right. So the offense was going to be towards Waddle, and Smith was going to be the bailout. So it worked out not perfectly. It worked out well for him because he got to show the NFL what he can, all the things he can do.
Yeah. So, so what do you think the order of the receivers will be off the board? Because right now it looks in most of the mock drafts, Waddle is not the one. Right. Which I agree with you too. I like Waddle a lot too. But what do you think that order goes in when it comes draft day?
It's. I think they're all top 10 players. Just being honest. But I think if I had to go with it, I'd go Waddle, Chase probably second, and Smith right there. Chase is just like early in the year. I'm one of those people, man. When everyone tells you a guy's a 1 in a million, I go watch him and I'm like, okay, he's bad at this. He's bad at this. He's bad at this. So he's not. That's unfortunate. And I did that with Chase before the season started, and it bothered me so much that a guy like him struggles to get off a jam. Like, I've watched him get beat up. He's like, we were making a joke. We're saying he loses the first 90% of the route and wins the last 10. Whereas like a guy like Jerry Jeudy wins 90%, but he doesn't like catching in traffic. He loses last 10. But like, he's just that strong. Like, it doesn't matter. He's gonna fight through the ball. Like, I've watched guys rush him and jam him, push him back 5 yards, but he's not developed enough. He was 19, the year he's still dominating. But it's he's just a beast. I mean, he's tough, strong, he's physical, and he's gonna improve as a route runner. Let me find an example. I've heard Hopkins or guys like that, but he's probably a little faster. He's tough at the catch point. He can go get the ball. Yep. And it's tough with him and Smith. There's nothing Smith can't do. So with Smith, it's a lot of stuff saying, well, this might happen in the pros. Hey, Jalen Ramsey might get his hands on him. That's basically what you're saying, because you can't say you haven't seen him do something,
Right.
And when I watched him go against Stingley, who's supposed to be the best corner, to come out of high school in years, he killed him. He embarrassed him. There's tape of him beating on every corner you can think of in the toughest league. And so it's just basically saying the guy's 160 pounds, soaking wet, and corners you can ride. As a corner, you're taught to ride him out of bounds. So to kind of get him in the way, and you feel like you can kind of muscle him a little bit. And that's all. And then again, think about what a number 1 receiver in the NFL is. We're talking Julio Jones. We're talking. So what's going to be his trait? His like thing that separates him from everyone else. And that's the only thing I struggled with. And I probably changed my mind. You might have to have me back on before that. And I'll just come on and say Devontae Smith's number 1 and hang up if you want. But I mean, what I like to do, I just keep asking myself questions. Okay, how would I stop him? How would I use him? And just the more you watch them, things kind of play themselves out, man. I probably think way too much, but that's how it works.
So for Sid, I know you're gonna like this question because you play tight end. Easily the best tight end in the country, Kyle Pitts out of Florida. What do you think of his game? Or not what do you think of his game, but who would you compare him to in the NFL right now? Just as a side question real quick.
All right.
So when I first heard that there was
go ahead, Sid. Yeah, go
ahead. When I first heard that there was a tight end in the top 10, at first I was happy, but then I was like, I just didn't like it. I was like, a tight end, someone taking a tight end when I see he was going at like pick 6, I'm like, who is this dude? So I started watching him, and his highlights are ridiculous. Like he kind of reminds me of an Alex Hernandez, like of explosiveness.
Yeah, Aaron. Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron. I'm sorry, Aaron Hernandez. Like just his big playability is like it's crazy. Like after watching him, bro, I can actually see him being a top 10 pick. Like he's the best tight end I've seen in years, man. Like I'm happy he putting tight ends on the map again and whatever. Like I don't know about his blocking ability, but he's basically a wide receiver. Like you're getting a wide receiver at the tight end position. Like Aaron Hernandez, to me, would have been the best. He would have been better than Gronk, in my personal opinion. But that's who I would compare him to. He's amazing.
Yeah, Justin, how you feel about Kyle Pitts?
He's a receiver. That's what I struggle. That's what I struggle with. That's what I struggle with, to be honest. Is okay. What as an NFL team, if I'm taking him in the top 10, what's separating me from saying, like I've heard, hey, he's Plaxico Burress. Like, what does that mean? Like, I don't even know how to respond to that. So should we be comparing him to Waddle and those guys? Like, that's my only concern. Like, if I line him up outside, is he going to beat Jalen Ramsey? Or what is he? When he comes in the game, is the other team saying, hey, they're definitely not going to run the ball? You know, that's my only. That's where it passes me on the fence with him. But I mean, the guy, he's special. I mean, he goes up and makes some catches. I mean, he even though he uses basketball moves as his releases, which I'm not a fan of, but like he don't know that he's 6'6", 240. He kind of still thinks he's
somebody gonna tell him.
He's in the line. He's in the line with you guys doing the ladder and all that. But you know what? It worked. The game's changing. So for me to say, you know, we need to have the tight end and 3-point stance, that's not today's game. You know, how often is Travis Kelce really blocked? You know, get in the way and let the guy beat you up a little bit. As long as the running back gets by you, you did your job. So but I mean, as a receiver, I mean, the guy's good. He's really, really good.
He reminds me of Jimmy Graham. Like I didn't ever think of Jimmy Graham as a traditional tight end.
Right.
But I mean, you can line him up as a tight end, and then it makes it difficult on whoever he's running against because they're playing a huge receiver.
Right.
So Jimmy Graham in his prime, I should say, because he fell off a cliff. But
that's a good one, though. That's a good one.
Yeah, New Orleans Jimmy Graham. That's what I should say. All right, so transitioning, we'll get off of offense for a little bit. We'll go to Jordan's spot because Jordan plays corner, linebacker, wherever you need to go. Jordan can play it, right? So, the top 3 in this draft: Sean Wade out of Ohio State, Patrick Surtain, and Farley from Virginia, I believe. Or is it Virginia Tech? Virginia Tech. That's what it is. Yeah. Which one of those guys should come off the board first?
For me, it's Farley. Farley's I think he ran a 4.2 the other day. Farley's he set out this year. He was a converted. He played quarterback in high school and then played receiver, and then they taught him how to play corner. So he's still learning the position.
Right.
But I mean, I've never seen. He's one of them guys, man. He just can chase you down. Like he plays off. As soon as the receiver separates, he closes. You know, he's one of them guys that, as a pro, you could see him becoming a shutdown corner or a number 1 corner. Whereas a guy like, I don't know if you want me to keep going, but a guy like Surtain, who I'm a big fan of. You know, I'm a big fan of him because when he played, I watched every Alabama game, which maybe makes me harder on him. I just feel like there's more there. Like he's probably the better player today because he knows his father was a pro, so his technique's flawless. But he's a maybe runs a 4.5, 4.6, so not as great an athlete. Yeah. But my biggest concern with him is he plays too cautious. You know, he's very safe. Like I've never, every corner in the world has been beat up in double move. I've never seen him beat up. It doesn't mean, it's not because he has great instincts. I just feel like he's safe. You know, he's physical, come out and tackle you. His press is all right, but he's more like they play a lot of cover 3, he'll give up certain things because he's just that kind of. He's just cautious, you know, and I just want to see more to him. Like sometimes you see him running stride for stride, and you're like, oh, go get it, and you're just watching him run, and like make a play. And I think that's just what you want. What I want to see more of. You know, maybe if you put him on the other side from, I hate to say, someone like Dallas, where Diggs is a little more aggressive, so you put him on the other side of an aggressive corner because you know what you're getting from him. Right. But I don't feel like I could put him on a number 1 receiver and say you got him. And
Gotcha.
that's what I want from a number one corner.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's probably afraid of saving too. To be honest with you, like
True.
he's still in college, so he's like, all right, I know what I can do, but let me scale it back just so I don't get yelled at when I go back to the sideline. But no, yeah, I really do like him, and I don't know all the ins and outs of playing corner either, but
he looks good doing it. He looks good doing
it.
Yeah.
What do you think of Shaun Wade? Because I believe he was the number one corner coming out of high school, if I'm mistaken. Maybe not out of Ohio State.
Shaun Wade actually last year played slot, was a nickel guy because they had Okuda, and they thought he should have. He came out last year as a redshirt sophomore. They're like, you know how it is when they don't know who you are. They're like, this next guy, he's next.
Yep.
And they moved him outside, and he had a disastrous year.
Yeah.
And again, it's the transition. Like I don't think he's as bad as the year went, but you know how you start off slow and it just starts to snowball. And you could see where he lost his confidence, and he messed around and talked junk to Devontae Smith, and it didn't work out. Said he was looking
mistakes
forward to
were made.
Yeah, he should have did that. But I think it's just he's a loner guy, so it's a lot of he struggles with stop, start, change direction. You know, he gets twisted around a lot. So again, which makes no sense because he playing in the slot is a lot harder, but he was really, really good there and went outside. I think again, it's the confidence. So if the team can get him and just get his head right, you might get a steal.
Right. Yeah, another Ohio State guy, so I like Shaun Wade, but again, I'm watching him not looking through the eyes of a DB because I don't play DB, so that's why I needed you guys' opinion on that type of like I don't play that position, but definitely, yeah. I like Farley too. They had him in that little range of 12. Right now, he's projected to go 10 to 13. So I like Farley. Yeah, I like Farley a lot. Moving on, we're gonna start to talk about running backs. So last year, of course, we had a flurry of rookie running backs in the NFL that really, really helped out the teams that they got drafted by. Some of them immediately. For fantasy football, that was great. Everybody got a piece of a rookie running back. I had my CEH Jordan with his Jonathan Taylor. Like it was crazy. A lot of rookie running backs. Any of these running backs coming out in the first projected first 2 rounds of the 2021 draft, do you think any of these guys have instant success potential in their rookie season, or is it a little bit of a watered down class when it comes to running back?
Well, I don't think you're going to get to the level of last year. I mean, that was
a
really good class last year. But Najee Harris, he's not as explosive. You know, he doesn't have the breakaway speed. But other than that, there's nothing he can't do. You know, as a back, power, great feet for a guy so big. You know, he's not the hurdling and all that, but actually the quick feet to sidestep tacklers, and you know, he fights for extra yards. He can catch the ball. He pass protect. So I mean, he's the type of guy that I guess you can build your offense around. You know, especially because teams' defenses are so much smaller now. You know, you're not going to want to tackle him for 4 quarters.
Yeah, no, I'm all set with trying to tackle
him. And after you close your eyes and go to his knees, he's going to jump over you anyway. So I think. And then the other one is the running back from North Carolina, Javonte Williams.
Yep.
He actually split carries with another running back who's in the draft, who's pretty good also. But he's kind of similar to Najee Harris, but he's faster. You know, not as polished with his vision and things like that, but he'll run you over. You know, it's quick feet. And again, he's not like he doesn't always hit the right hole, but he's definitely, you know, he's tough to tackle. He's probably end up being a starter at some point.
Yeah. Do you see Harris and Williams going in the first round at the end of the first round, or do any of them drop?
I think Harris will. I think the Clemson running back may in the first round.
Travis Etienne.
Yeah. He's. I'm on the fence about him just because he's more of a straight line guy. You know, in traffic, he's a strider. So if he gets traffic, he freezes. You know, because he's such a strider. But if you open a hole, he's gone. You know, that's the kind of back he is. So depending on how teams, again, like you said, fit. Depending on how teams look at it, he could sneak in the first round.
Yeah.
But, Harris, I think Harris will.
Yeah, but definitely not on the level of last year's draft. That was insane.
No,
I
last year
didn't
was-
I didn't even expect that. I knew Jonathan Taylor was going to be real good, and I thought DeAndre Swift was going to get more of a chance playing in Detroit. I mean, he still had a good rookie season, but I thought he was going to kind of be the bell cow. They had Adrian Peterson and
Wouldn't come off the field.
some other compilation of running backs. So I thought he was going to get a little more of a chance early, but it is what it is. And I know that's Jordan's boy JT over there. So
Boy.
okay, so just to wrap it up, Justin, is there any mid to late round sleepers, guys that a whole bunch of people aren't really talking about, but that you have seen, watched, heard about that could go mid to late round that you really interested in? And we'll start on the offensive end.
There's two receivers, two smaller guys. Dwayne Eskridge from Western Michigan, and then there's Jalen Darden. They're like both like smaller receivers, but they're explosive. You know, one of them is more of like, let's say one's faster than quick and one's quicker than fast, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
but still faster than quick, but quicker than everyone else. Another one's quicker than fast, but still faster than most people. I mean, these guys are, one of them's like more of you get the ball in the open field and he's gone. The other guy is Deshaun Jackson. Long strides, one put his foot in the ground, and he's out of there. You know, that they're fun to watch. Small school guys, but I think they're both going to be steals. Maybe, you know, if they run the great 40s, you never know. They could go day 2, day 3, but I mean, I'm sorry, second, third round, but definitely talented receivers.
And me and Jordan were talking about the 40 times this year because we've already seen, it's been about 3 days, and we've already seen how many like 4-2s.
Yeah,
4-2
I'm like, all right,
sixes.
bro, there's no way. They got to stop.
We need to go down to Exos, man, and see what we can get.
Insane.
I know we might register for the draft. So they're getting crazy numbers out there.
I wouldn't believe those. I wouldn't believe them.
Yeah, they're I mean, there's nothing we could do with COVID going on, but I think everybody gonna be a 4-2 receiver this year.
Me and Drew were talking today, and we were just saying that, like, you know, this year there's not going to be one central location, you know, for the combine. There's not one wash. There's not just one, you know, system that they're doing this in. So it's going to be school by school. You know, you can't tell me they're not going to, you know, take a 4-3-1 and shave that down to a 4-2-7. You know, I think there's they're rooting for their guys, obviously.
But there's a rumor that Ohio State's been using a 37-yard, 40-yard dash for years.
Every yard count, baby.
I honestly have heard that.
Oh my gosh, we don't even need that. Like, just let them. They're fast already. What's
I know, right? What do you do when you end up with a number that's too fast?
Yeah. We're in a 4.06.
3.5.
Never seen those before. All right, first round, first pick. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, man. So it's okay. We won't pay attention too much to the 40 times this year. They're just gonna be a little skewed. Everybody's gonna look. They're gonna look at him in the locker room like, you ain't run no 4-2, bro. Calm down. Oh man, that's funny. They're gonna have Kyle Pitts with a 4-2 in the gym.
They're gonna have Mac Jones with a 4-1.
Mac Jones. All right, Justin. So who do you got for sleepers on the defensive side of the football?
You know, it's funny is we talked about the corners early, right? You said about the top 3.
Yep.
I watched the tape, man. There was like 2 or 3 guys that I like really liked. Like I probably maybe a little more than some of the guys we talked about in the top 3. But there's a guy, Kelvin Joseph from Kentucky.
Okay.
He was originally at LSU. Started as a freshman at LSU and then transferred to Kentucky. And just watching them, you know you're watching like an LSU athlete playing for Kentucky. Like they put him on his side of the field, and the other 10 guys were playing one defense, and he was like, okay, I got Devontae Smith. You know, there's tape of him locking up, you know, he got a pick up against Devontae Smith and a knockdown. They locked him up on Pitts. Like they put him on the best player on the other team, and Pitts got him once in space. It was like a little double move. Yeah. But other than that, man, against those teams, like you could just tell he stood out. When I watched that game, it was like he don't belong in Kentucky type thing, you know. And I mean him. But then there's what's his name? Ifeatu Melifanu. His brother went to UConn.
Okay.
The one that had the crazy 40-yard dash and all that. But
Yep.
he was a safety and didn't love football. But to him, it's a little different. He's 6'3", 215, but he's like, he can move, he can mirror, not too many times. Nothing better than seeing a corner who's tall but has little man feet. He move like a little guy. They're like, wow, I didn't realize he was that tall. Like, that's a compliment for a tall guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
In football.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he went to Senior Bowl and locked up people. And same as like I said with the other guy, was his best tapes were Clemson and North Carolina, two of the best offenses in college football. And he locked those teams up. And he's unlike his brother, who didn't like to tackle. He'll come down and hit you. And I could see him sneaking in the first round. Both of them maybe. Joseph apparently his issue is he wants to be a rapper. So teams don't really like that. That doesn't go well.
Of course,
I forgot the name. If I remember the name, his rap name, I'll send it to you.
He got a rap name?
What's it called? Fat something.
Oh man, we got to put that on the page.
Again, he's a talented football player. I don't get into all that stuff. But I enjoy watching him.
This is the guy that was at LSU. You said, right?
Yeah.
So he showed his mixtape to the guys at LSU, and they said, "Nah, he went to Kentucky."
They go to Kentucky.
Kentucky it is.
They said, "Go to the basketball school."
He enjoys some weed. Allegedly. So,
man, well, he better straighten it up before draft night, because that's gonna. He just flushing money down the toilet at that point. You got to chill with all that.
Ask Josh Gordon.
Yeah.
I feel
Zappers, baby.
That's crazy. Oh man, but Justin, we know you have you do podcasts and articles and everything too. What's your the page or your platform?
On Twitter, it's at Sportsruckus, and then we do a podcast of the Big Nickel Scouting Podcast. It's on under Draft Brawl on Apple and whatever all the other I don't even know the names of the ones.
Anywhere you listen to a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the pros say. But yeah.
All streaming services.
Yeah, those.
All right, awesome. So yeah, those right there.
Find me there.
Yeah, exactly. We'll leave those titles in the comments for you guys, so you guys can go follow Sports Ruckus and Justin's podcast as well. Any college NFL coverage, Justin's the guy to go to. He definitely got that information for you guys. So Justin, thanks for hopping on. Guys, continue to smash the like button, smash the subscribe. Of course, if you following us from the beginning or just hopping on, our NFL Super Bowl coverage show went completely berserk, and we thank you guys. Up to 2K views right now, so that's doing great, guys. Continue to support, and we will continue to give you guys the content. We appreciate Justin coming on. We'll have you on soon again, of course, before the draft. Sid and Jordan, thank you for hopping on again.
Yes,
and
sir.
We'll see you guys on the next NFL show. This has been Cover 32 with the crew, and we are out.
Peace.